Nobody wants to be part of an economic recession. It can get ugly, and it has so many downsides to it. Everything loses value, people lose their jobs, the stock markets crash, and most companies are forced to increase the price of their products to compensate for the losses. Today, we will look at how to survive an economic recession and make profits while you're at it. It's actually quite simple. All you need to do is pay attention. If you enjoy our content, please subscribe to the channel to keep up on all our future updates. Okay, before we get into the topic, what do we mean by an economic recession? According to Investopedia, recession means a significant decline in general economic activity in a designated region. When a recession occurs, there are a lot of ripple effects that are felt, and most of them aren't good. However, if you're smart about it, you can gain a lot and profit from it. Generally speaking, there can't be growth and expansion in the economy forever. There will have to be a few recessions along the way, just to level things out. If this never happened, some things like stock prices for companies would just be too expensive to even think of buying. There are a lot of triggers that can cause a recession, and some of them are complex and interconnected. An example of such a trigger is economic shocks. This unpredictable event can cause widespread economic disruption, such as a natural disaster. One of the best examples of this is the COVID-19 pandemic that was felt all over the world. Most businesses had come to a standstill, and nothing was running. Many people also lost their jobs as others started adapting to work online. Another cause of recession is high interest rates, just like what is experienced right now. If there is a high interest rate on a bank account, consumers can't afford to buy houses, cars, and other large purchases. Eventually, most companies reduce their spending and growth plans because the cost of financing is unaffordable. In the long run, the economy will shrink. Deflation can also cause recessions. This simply means that most of the products and assets see their prices falling because they are no longer as in demand as they used to be. As the market continues to fall, the company's costs will also fall in an attempt to attract buyers again. Sometimes people will put off purchases as they wait for lower prices, which causes an ongoing downward spiral. This will then cause slow economic activity and even greater unemployment. There is a loss of consumer confidence. People will reduce their spending after they start worrying that the economy will fall. Most of them start saving up. Since 70% of the GDP depends on consumer spending, the entire economy eventually slows down. One other problem with recessions is that you can't really predict how long they will last. It is highly unpredictable. It can go on for a few months or a few years. The last known recession lasted for 18 months, starting in December of 2007 all the way to June of 2009. So, now that you know what a recession is, how can we survive through one? One of the ways is by saving an emergency fund. As we said before, when the economy starts going down, most of our jobs and income are jeopardized. This is the exact reason you need to save an emergency fund, just as a way to prepare yourself for the worst. An emergency fund is money you have saved up that will help you get through the financial hardship you are experiencing. It will come in handy if you fall back on your finances, and it will definitely come in handy during a recession. If possible, try to save enough money to cover at least 3 months of your salary. This would help because you wouldn't have to turn to credit to survive when the economy starts coming down. Credit will only lead to more and more debt, and debt will only be a huge burden to you. Most people make the mistake of turning to credit, forgetting that they will have to pay it back at some point. Even worse is having a debt during an economic recession because you will have to struggle to pay it back. And remember, you don't really know how long a recession will last. This is why you need to save an emergency fund and make sure that you save as best as you can. To avoid going into a financial crisis during a recession, you need to establish a budget. First things first, you do not want to be spending more money than you are making. This will only lead you into debt, and we know that debt will only haunt you during a recession. The first thing you need to do is pay off your debts if you have any. For this, you will need to establish a budget that will accurately reflect the money coming into your household and where that money will be going. A budget will also help you manage your finances and deal with your priorities first. During an economic recession, A really great strategy is downsizing and learning how to live a frugal life. The less you have to spend, the safer you are from going into financial crisis. Contrary to popular belief, it's not that hard. It's not really about denying yourself things that bring you happiness. It's more of a conscious decision before you go about spending. You're simply trying to minimize your expenses without significantly affecting your lifestyle. A good example would be looking for a fuel-efficient car if you have to have one, or using public transit if you don't. You can even spend less on groceries or scale back on your cell phone plan. You want to ensure that the cuts you are making are not that extreme and that they will not have a significant effect on your lifestyle. This will definitely help you get through a recession period. You can also try diversifying your income, which means that all you need to do is find another way to earn income. If you are working a 9-to-5 job, you can find another job that you can do after 5 until the time you sleep. There are many ways nowadays, and there are also lots of online jobs. If you can even buy an apartment somewhere and rent it out. There are lots of ways in which you can increase your income. And who knows, maybe that second source of income will soon become your primary source of income. Lastly, you want to diversify your investments. When the market is going down, this gives way to a better opportunity to invest in something you know will rise again. Sometimes, some of the things you can invest in, such as the stock market, can perform even during a recession. However, it is not just investing in anything that you can think of. You will have to think about it first. And if you do it right, this is where your profit comes in. One of the things that you can invest in is core sector stocks. Many people are tempted to give up on supplies during a recession, but experts say that it is better to stay put. Even though the economy is going down, those sectors continue marching forward, and these are the ones that provide investors with steady returns. Some of these sectors include healthcare, utilities, and consumer goods sectors. People will still spend on these sectors, making their stocks relatively stable. Consider dividend stocks to earn a passive income when investing in the stock market. You should look for companies with a low debt-to-equity ratio and strong balance sheets. These are the ones that will give you a higher dividend. You can also think of investing in real estate. When the housing market fails, this is the perfect opportunity to buy a house. You can get yourself a home and then rent it out, making it another source of income. When the economy is crashing, everyone runs into a panic. But if you know what to do, you can come out of it a millionaire. These are just some of the ways on how you can survive through an economic recession and make profits as you storm through it. Well, that's it for today. What did you think about the video? If you have any other ideas on surviving an economic recession, feel free to leave them in the comments section below. As always, thanks for watching.